Welcome to twoquestions.tv. With me today is Norty Cohen, and we're talking about brand loyalty. Welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me today is Norty Cohen. Norty founded Moosylvania, an integrated brand building agency in 2003. He's been on the agency side for his entire career, and over the last 5 years, he's published an annual favorite brands ranking report that's been featured in the New York Times, Adweek, Forbes, and other publications. The findings in the study were released in this book, The Participation Game, which we're talking about today. Hi, Norty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I liked your book. Really, really good book. One of the things that you talk about in the book is that companies are slow to move. So true. And the traditional, here's what you need to know approach is lingering on and on and on. So what's the alternative? What's a better approach? Where does the relationship building fit in that we always hear marketers talking about? How does that all fit in? What's a better approach?
So, the way that I've been breaking it down is the context of one-way or two-way communication. And I think what marketers in the past and the way that they were taught is really this whole context of one way. We drop points on a market. You know that you're going to talk to women 18 to 35, and we're going to hit them with 300 points, and they're going to hear this message, and they're going to respond. And, obviously that's not working anymore, but it's really hard for people to adopt to that, particularly people that were not part of it. We've only had the iPhone for 10 years and the whole smartphone phenomena for 10 years, and two-way messaging has really kind of come of age. And a lot of marketers can't really think that way, or they're just not built to think that way. So break it down either as one way or two way, and you'll begin to see some clarity. And when we talk about two-way, it's really the holy grail. Nothing really matters until we're talking back to the consumer. So we can get involved in disseminating social feeds and pushing out Facebook posts and sending out YouTube videos, or even old school, hoping people watch a television commercial and don't DVR through it. But ultimately, until we start talking to the consumer, we haven't really accomplished much at all. So
one thing that I've found is there are marketers who don't get it. They just don't get it. And then there are those that do. And for those that do, it seems that the filtering up of that kind of information and the buy-in they need to get the kind of infrastructure or investment they need so that they can do this kind of shift. Since most of the information coming down is, okay, you need to do this, XYZ, ads, and all the things you just said that are that one-way theory. How can marketers talk to business owners or the higher-ups and encourage them to do that? They just hand them, here's the book, read the book.
Yeah, listen, I think part of it is client education. We talk about it all the time. I think, it's a generational thing, and really it goes right into Gen X on up. I mean, people that were, would have been in there. So you go back to 2008, those people, where were they at that time when smartphone technologies really took over? So 26 to 8, anywhere in that range, they might have been, say, in their early 30s. They might be close to 40 at this point, right touching on Gen X or just getting into that whole range.
Yeah.
And they didn't grow up with this. And so therefore they feel like that wasn't something they had to know. And sooner or later, generationally, they're going to start adopting it and start thinking that way. But the people that are in the boardrooms that are making the decisions still want to see things on a television screen and say, well, that's our commercial, that's our big idea,
right, and
everything else kind of filters out of that. And what we found was that when we added up the responses and we took all this data, we said we asked consumers who their favorite brand was, but then we said, how do you connect with your favorite brand? How did you learn about your favorite brand? And what we saw was it was 2.5 times more likely for a consumer to adopt a brand based on what friends and family were saying, anyone else talking about it, any kind of online conversation, through search, through other third-party opportunities versus YouTube, Facebook, and TV ads combined, 2.5 times. So it's 2.5 times more likely that someone's going to adopt your brand based on what other people are saying.
Yeah.
You've got to get people talking about you. And that's why we always talk about the fact that we're not talking about the target market anymore. We're not flying over the market, dropping 300 points, going, boom, that'll get them. What we have to do is we have to get to the target's market. We have to think about who their friends are. Because if everybody has 500 friends in their social feed, there's a, almost 100% chance that they're going to see it. And then it's in the high 90s that if they're talking about you, their friends are going to see it. And that's where we want to be.
Okay, so bonus round.
Yes.
So a small business owner is watching today.
Yes.
How do they get people to talk about them?
Well, I think first of all, you have to have a conversation. So, we always kind of look at this as sort of like this growth. So it was like, what's the concept behind the business? What's the core value proposition that they have? Can they tell that story well? Does their concept make sense? Can they describe themselves well? Then can they describe themselves so well that people want to talk to them and they can start conversations back? And then can they say it so well that people will start talking for them and talking about them? And at that point, they can start investing in creating different ideas. Well, here's another reason to talk about it. Then it makes sense. And so there's a couple of different tactics that can fall in if you're a small business owner. One is, the simplest way is ask a lot of opinions, ask surveys. We were just looking at, somebody was showing that there was like whole products that were being designed by allowing consumers to say, what do you want in this? What's your ideal product? What would you like to see it be? And letting consumers sort of interact online as products were coming online. So you could, if you're a restaurant owner, you can say, what do you want to see? What do you think the special should be? Whatever it would be, allow them to feed back to you. So that's the first one. Just any kind of customer survey, whatever it can be, as often as it can be, just ask their opinion. And the other tactic would be to think about co-creation. Let's do something together. Let's make something together. Give them a tool and feed back to them. And so we start to see that a lot. I get the biggest kick out of Southwest Airlines. That's the hub in our market. And because I'm a regular, I get a lot of things from them. And if I tweet at them and ask them a question, sometimes, or a comment, they may just give me a flight attendant waving back to me. Like, I don't even get a comment. I just get this in the know thing. Like, I'm in the know with them. And then on my birthday, I got a video with dancing flight attendants singing to me. And the whole thing, playing music and whatever, and explosions going off. And it was just a little, 2-minute video sent to me with my name on it. That kind of co-creation thing. What am I going to do with that? I'm probably going to share it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to share this. You're not going to believe what I just got. This personalized video card. So that co-creation opportunity is where it starts, and giving people things that they can share would be the second step. First is just ask questions. Next is giving them something that's worth sharing.
That's really interesting. Meanwhile, I've got 1.5 million miles in American, and they've never sent me dancing flight attendants.
Yes. They're in a different zone. There's a few companies that are totally like locked in. Wendys is very locked into this.
Oh, Wendys is awesome.
Yeah, they're very locked in. You know about Nugs for Carter, right? This high school kid sitting around, and this has happened last year, and he tweeted at Wendys and he said, how many retweets do I need for free chicken nuggets for a year? Well, and they sent back right away. They said 18 million, which they just came up with, which is like an outlandish number. But their community manager had the ability to do that, and the race was on. But meanwhile, here's a consumer that was smart enough in high school to say there was a value to tweeting, like he was worth something, and he talked about it with them. And they live in this world of, that I know that that I know that we're just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're not an advertiser. We're not taking ourselves seriously. It's not like this is about the hamburger and nothing else. And I think that's where clients get really confused. One of the things that we ask consumers over time, and we were able to look at a lot of data, which we still have new data coming in. We just did a new survey last week. But we said, what do you want to see in your social feed? And fun and interesting was 6-1 over news and information. So a
Yeah.
lot of clients are like, I need to tell them all this important stuff about me, which I'm sure it's important. Save that for the PR feed, because
Yeah.
what the consumer wants is to be entertained. And one of the things that we walked away from when we looked at the top 100 was make me look good, make me feel good, keep me entertained. And
Yeah.
when we looked at top 100, we said every one of these brands is doing something in one of these buckets to win this consumer over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Wendy's is everywhere with their social media. I mean, everyone's talking about, and the thing that I think the mistake is that, in my opinion, brands see the idea of fun and interesting and entertaining, and they think that to do that means not taking the work seriously. And that's not it. I would imagine there is a lot of strategy behind what's going on with Wendy's. I don't think they don't take it seriously. I
Right.
think they take it super seriously and they get it. Was that kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. And the problem is, and we have clients in the restaurant sector, and, at the end of the day, come on, it's still just a hamburger. Okay. We're not going to get that serious about it, because the consumer's it's not going to change their life, So,
yeah.
you have to kind of not take yourself so seriously. And I think that's the problem, is people get caught up with, wait a minute, our brand is sacrosanct and that's who we are.
Interesting. Very interesting. And there are a lot more stories like this in this book,
Yes.
viewers. Yes. Norty, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hope I answered all your questions, and look forward to telling you more as we go along. We got this working on book number 2 right now. So
Oh, good.
more coming.
Then you'll come back.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, good. Oh, wonderful. Great. All right. So viewers, you got to read the book now, because there's a new one coming. So get this book. We'll have the link to Amazon to get the book in the show notes. So look down here. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you again. See you.